It has been the view of experts that Nigeria's maritime domain holds the key to our ultimate prosperity beyond all of the other natural resources we currently are endowed with. And if we are to grow sustainably, Nigeria as a nation must look seawards and make the most of our massive and highly enriched coastlines. Very few nations are endowed as we are with regards to maritime potentiality. Hello and welcome. The program is Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. My name is Ubong Isien, and I will be your guide on this voyage.
Governor Doye Diri of Bayelsa State, and you are watching Nimasa This Week.
Welcome back. It's still Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. On today's episode, as always, we ask, what has the Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Bashir Jamo, been up to in the past 1 week? You get to find out on the DDish diary. Also on today's episode, our nautical chat with no less a person than the master mariner of all master mariners himself. I'm talking about Captain Emmanuel Iheanacho. He shares with us his thoughts as to what 2021 holds for the Nigerian maritime industry, especially as it relates to the practitioners themselves. Also on Know Your Convention, BC George takes on the all too important subject of MAPO, maritime pollution, in a fantastic conversation featuring two of our best experts in-house here at Nimasa. And then our other regulars, all packed for your maritime learning and delight. So if you're ready, as we see here at Nimasa, it's anchors away.
The Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Bashir Jamo, played host to a delegation from the CFAX Group led by the Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Taiwo Afolabi, at the agency headquarters in Lagos. Present at the meeting were Executive Director Operations, Malam Sheo Ahmed, and Executive Director Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services, Right Honorable Victor Oche. Executive Director Finance and Administration, Honorable Chudi Ofodili. In his welcome address, the DG of Nimasa sought the cooperation of the Seaport Terminal Operators Association of Nigeria as a critical stakeholder in the Nigerian maritime space.
The IMO IMSA's report we sent in December, the report back a follow-up. So I want to meet with the operators. So when we meet, we will not table all the areas of gaps. Then let us see the way forward. First of all, I will start with the internal stakeholders, so that they will not tell me their own version. This is what we see, this is what we observe, this is what we are doing. Then we will now call the external stakeholders. We'll sit down with them in the next week, before the end of next week, and then we'll come up with way forward. We develop an action plan with deliverables, key performance indicators, and see how we can close out the gap as early as possible.
The visit made it possible for the DG and his team to raise and discuss a lot of issues that are of interest to both the agency and the seaport terminal operators, while shedding light on different grey areas. Dr. Afolabi, on behalf of the delegation, thanked the DG for hosting them and pledged their support to the success of the DG and that of the agency. The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has stressed the need for a collaborative effort with the management of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, and other stakeholders to decongest the perennial gridlock in Apapa. Governor Sanwo-Olu made this remark when he hosted top management of NIMASA led by the Director General, Dr. Bashir Jamo, on a courtesy visit at the Lagos House in Alausa, Ikeja. Governor Sanwo-Olu stated that through the lag ferry, they have moved over 250,000 passengers in less than 1 year and plan to do even more. He promised that the government will commission the Lekki port before the end of his administration so as to decongest Apapa ports. In his remarks, the DG Nimasa, Dr. Bashir Jamo, said the agency is ready to partner with the state in the area of ferry services as an alternate means of transportation and reduce traffic congestion on the road. While stating that 98% of the maritime insecurity originates from land to sea, however, Lagos remains the state that has the highest level of maritime security in the country.
In 2020, we saw most of these things going down. You know, we saw our basic oil business was not there. We saw all the other value-added activities that we had developed absolutely going down. It was terrible. So we are hoping that 2021 would be different. Acquiring the right to participate in the transport of our crude to foreign refineries. It is an objective that we have fought over for so many years. I mean, we've talked about cabotage, but I think even before we started talking about cabotage, we had actually been engaged in the business of trying to supply shipping services to those who have the contracts to carry our crude to foreign refineries. And basically what we said in those days was, we cannot continue to sell our crude on an FOB basis. And we'll sell it, and we are paid a certain amount for bringing the oil to the wellhead. And then the people who buy it now have responsibility for providing shipping services. And you understand that those shipping services create jobs. It creates significant opportunities because there are seamen who work there. They earn a lot of money from that. They also keep their families. It creates opportunities for you to acquire technology in shipping because shipping is very dynamic. And the type of ships that you use, how they are operated, continue to change. So these are part of the things that we fought for in those days. We moved to say we can even do better. Rather than simply carrying the crude, taking it to a foreign refinery, we can bring the refineries down here. And two things would happen. Two things, very important things. The element of cost that we incurred to transport the crude from Nigeria to the foreign refinery, and the element of cost that we used to incur for bringing the refined products from the foreign refinery to Nigeria would be completely cut off if we were able to build refineries in Nigeria and refine our products here. And what it would mean would be that our people would be able to have access to refined products at very competitive prices. So that is for consumption. But of course, we can actually then metamorphose and become a center and a hub for refined products trade in West Africa. We will be able to compete with people who are refining products elsewhere. We will be able to establish a hub for the production and distribution of refined products. Who are our potential partners in this? All the small countries in West Africa who do not have the resources to do what we are planning to do. We could ship to Ghana, we could ship to Ivory Coast, we could ship to Senegal. If you then went south, we could ship to South Africa and all the countries between South Africa and Nigeria. It really would escalate the economics of a production in Nigeria. Nigerian Navy should be saddled with responsibility for providing security. Nimasa can, as it is doing now, assist them to say, this thing that you're doing, if there are deficits in terms of budgetary provisions and we have those resources, we'll let you have it. But we are in charge of when ships come in, we have port state control, we have flag state control, we have to go and board the ships, we have to go and check safety standards on board, we have to check the qualification of seafarers, we have to check the number of people who are working there, we have to look at the ship certificates. When did you last dry dock your ship? If you dry docked for a long time and you're overdue, we can order people to go around and check the scan planes of the ship, look at so many things. That is what it should do, so that everybody will know that if you come to Nigerian ports, don't mess around with the port state control. They are absolutely on top of their game. That is what we would recommend for them. That is where the Koreans started, with cheap and nasty ships. But where are they today? The British people and Europeans don't build ships anymore because they cannot build it as cheaply and as efficiently as those Koreans that used to build cheap and nasty ships. Nigeria should really embark upon the business of building ships. Going back to the shipping issue, I have a piece of land. I have plans that are drawn for the dock area and all of those things. If Nimasa joins with us, in this enterprise, we could bring in the Koreans, we could bring in the Chinese. We should be able to build a ship in another 3 or 4 years, and we will launch it. This is a Nigerian built ship. I have to tell you also, we have to make a distinction between, when we talk about shipbuilding, there are boats that are built in Port Harcourt. That's not what I'm talking about. They're building nice boats, and those people are quite proficient in what they do. I'm talking about an ocean-going vessel. We should be able to build it. It would absolutely escalate our technological development and capacity, because shipbuilding will place a demand on steel making, and we're trying to resuscitate our steel making capabilities. It would create an opportunity for the transfer of technology, different technologies that you have on board the ship, doing the main engine, doing the auxiliary engines, so many things that are involved. We must embark upon some of these projects where we see quantifiable, measurable objectives at the end of the day.
This is still Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. Welcome to this segment of Know Your Conventions. My name is Olabisi George, and today we'll be talking about the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, popularly known as MAPOL. And I have here with me today the Director, Cabotage Services Department. She's also a lawyer, Mrs. Rita Urapa, and a Chief Marine Officer, a technical expert on prevention and control of marine pollution, Dr. Al. And today we'll be talking about the popular convention called MAPOL. So you're welcome to this segment, and it's good to have you here.
Thank you.
So let's have a background into the convention MAPOL. What is MAPOL?
Like you said, MAPOL is the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships. For a very long time, IMO actually was focused on safety and security. But however, as time went on, it became evident that it was important to do something about the environment, to make sure that there was no danger to the environment. And then it became more evident after the Torres Canyon incident of 1967. After that, a lot of IMO came up with some measures to actually checkmate this. But the most important was the MAPOL Convention, which came into force in 1973. Thereafter, there were amendments made to this convention, and that's also by way of protocol. That also came into effect in 1978. The aim, like you said, is actually to ensure control and prevention of pollution by ships. There have been so many regulations actually that have been promulgated pursuant to this convention, and all these regulations help in ensuring that this MAPOL is effective. In Nimasa, we have a special department that deals with marine environment, and that is called Marine Environmental Services Department. They are the people that ensure the implementation of MAPOL as well as other conventions that have to do with sea.
Thank you for that background, Mrs. Rapa. Dr. Owl, do you want to tell us to what vessels or ships this implementation and to what ships this convention actually applied to?
Yeah, thank you for this question. MAPOL is one of the largest conventions that we implement, and is the largest convention that prevent pollution of the marine environment. So what we do in MIM, the instrument, we enforce it to ensure that the ships comply with this convention, and it has regulations in each, like the oily waste, what kind of oily waste, and that is why there are strategies that we have in place to implement. For example, we have what is called oil record book. If there's oil pollution on ship, you need to record it. And when inspectors goes on board, if they want to enforce MAPOL, the first thing they ask, where is your oil record book? And when they get that oil record book, they will see the quantity of oil they are recording. We also have things like port reception facilities that are provided statutorily by the Nigerian Ports Authority within the ports, and is aimed towards preventing pollution from ships. If you have oily waste, you don't need to dump it. The regulation says that you dump it in the port reception facility. The annex to, if you have noxious substances, which is in liquid form, you also need to handle it properly in line with the regulation of the MAPOL. If you have the hazardous package form, which is the Annex 3 of MAPOL, there is a need how you can handle it in line with that regulation. The same thing with the sewage. You don't dump sewage coming from the ships. You know, ships is like a house. There are people staying there and they pass all this, so you don't need to dump it. And that's the essence of that port reception facility that Nigerian Ports Authority need to provide within the ports for all these categories of waste. And that's one measure to enforce MAPOL Convention. At the offshore is the responsibility of Nimasa to provide both the reception facility and enforce it. So that is what we normally do to ensure that the ships are complying with the MAPOL Convention.
So basically, from my understanding, and to allow the audience to understand better, it means any form of waste on the ship should not be dumped in the marine environment.
Sure.
It should be, there should be a proper arrangement for evacuating this waste.
Sure.
Maybe through the port reception facilities, as you have mentioned, or offshore waste that Nimasa provides.
Or you call the Maritime Safety Administration if anything happens, because it plays two roles, the preventive aspect and the control.
Okay.
That is why it is called International Convention of Marine Pollution, of Prevention of Marine Pollution and Control.
True.
Port state control inspections are the lifeblood of maritime trade and are usually done every 6 months for all foreign ships within a nation's ports. Port state control inspection is a process whereby nations exercise authority over foreign ships that comes to their ports in order to enforce International Maritime Organization compliance. This is in the bid to eliminate substandard ships, ensure the quality of vessel equipment, ascertain the living standard of crew, prevent pollution, improve life at sea, This inspection was carried out by the Port State Control Unit of the Marine Safety and Seafarer Standard of Nimasa. The team was led by Engineer Basi Akpan, the Chief Marine Engineer Surveyor, and assisted by Engineer Joseph and Engineer Cyril. As the team climbs the galley, the vessel was checked for peeling, cracking, or corrosion, as well as the galley net for safety. The team submits themselves to the galley watch for proper identification before they were directed to the captain of the ship. Ship particulars were demanded, including all the trading certificates of the ship, as well as particulars of the crew members.
Trading certificates are here. So one of our colleagues is going to check the trading certificate, while some other guys will go around the ship.
The bridge of the vessel was visited as the navigational officer of Zonda took them around to inspect all the navigational equipment.
Captain, who is your officer in charge of the bridge?
The second officer.
Okay. This one officer, navigational officer?
Yes, this is our welcome to the bridge.
Yeah.
This is Zonda Bridge. So I will tour you around with the equipments we have.
Okay.
Okay. We have here ECDIS.
Okay.
Okay. We have ECDIS system. Yes, for the navigation.
Okay, you have all the coastal charts?
Yes, we have the charts here.
All updated?
Yes, sir. Updated until week 53, the latest week.
Echo sounder?
Echo sounder is here.
Is working?
Yes, 2 meter. We have a set 2 meter reading down.
We have also the reading
Printer, yes.
Okay. Where's your BWAS?
BNWAS there, sir. So we have the BNWAS here.
All the lights are okay?
Yes, sir. All navigational lights working. Equipment working. Good radios.
The autopilot is still working?
Yes, sir.
After these, a detailed inspection was carried out on the engine of the ship to ascertain if there is any pipe leakage for its safety as well as cleanliness.
We are in the engine control room. What do? You do watch keeping or UMS? Is it a UMS ship?
This ship is a UMS.
Okay.
But since we have enough personnel on board, we are having a duty.
Abandonment ship drill was conducted where the captain sounded an alarm and the crew assembled. A fire drill was also undertaken to check the readiness of the ship and a crew to handle fire outbreaks and control. At the end of the inspection, Zonda was certified OK in compliance with the necessary regulatory standards.
So the vessel is a very good vessel. We checked the engine room, the bridge, accommodation, and we also conducted a fire drill, and it was very successful. Captain, the ship is good to go. Welcome back. It's still Nimasa this week, the voice of maritime. So we go straight to the DJ's tweet for the week, and it's coming from his Twitter handle at Jamu Bashir. Stakeholder involvement is critical for the advancement of our maritime fortunes. At Nimasa, we are doing everything possible to engage with our stakeholders, especially the practitioners, in order to deliver on the promise of our maritime potential. There you have it. You can continue the conversation with the Director General of Nimasa at his Twitter handle at Jamo Bashir, and the hashtag is the voice of maritime. Remember also our official social media handles, all at Nimasa Official. You can also visit the official Nimasa website as displayed on your screen to find all relevant information that you might need for your business as far as the maritime domain is concerned. you've enjoyed today's episode of the program, Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. As always, Nimasa remains committed to advancing our national maritime fortunes because our marine environment provides the most sustainable path to our economic prosperity as a nation. My name is Ubong Isien, as I leave you with a famous nautical remark that the voice of the sea speaks to the soul. Till I see you next time, you stay on course. Bye for now.